And you know what said to myself, Gigi, when I found this is my vow was I never want somebody to go through what I did. I don't want somebody to go through that misery. I want people to know you don't have to be miserable. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's something that happened in your childhood or something, losing a loved one, or it doesn't matter. Whatever is going on inside, if you're not happy, if you don't have that peace, if you don't have that joy, and we can all have a bad day. I mean, everybody does. But if you don't have that on a regular basis, you're probably a good candidate to see someone like me. Because what happens is that doesn't magically go away unless you find this method that actually eliminates it. And that's what my work is about, and that's what I love to help people with. And because I've experienced firsthand that it works, I can now help others. And that's the joy I get now.
And that's a simple procedure that people can breathe through as you help them to release the past pain that holds them to their story of suffering on whatever level, from an experience or their own thinking or
whatever it is. It's deceptively simple, because all someone is doing is they're feeling the emotional pain or negativity and they're breathing. And someone actually could do this by themselves. But the bigger problem is when something is so big, it's like you can birth a baby by yourself. Of course you can. The baby's going to come no matter what. But it's a whole lot better for you if you have that doctor or nurse or midwife there that's there to assist you. They can't make the baby come out. You have to do the birthing. But they're there to assist you and make sure it's as smooth and easy a process as possible for you. And that's basically what my role is when I'm working with people. I keep them breathing. If they get tingly or heavy feelings, which is pretty normal during a session, the body's starting to release these heavy emotions, these are negative emotions. Sometimes people have had tight throats or headaches or a heavy feeling in their chest or a stomach ache. I'm going to tap on that because it's getting stuck. It's trying to release from the physical cells themselves. And the one thing I can tell anyone, at the end of their session, they will no longer feel it. It is gone. And that brings me joy just to see somebody be in joy again.
Yes, they feel that lightness, I know, and that being able to breathe, being able to view things, let's say, in a brighter light than before.
Yes. You know, people will go from feeling helpless to I have hope again. They feel like they did when they're a kid. I can't tell you how many people have said to me, do you know how many therapists and hundreds of thousands of dollars some people have spent for 20 years in therapy, and in one session with you, you just wiped it out? And it's not that there's anything wrong with therapy, because there's a really great purpose for therapy, but it's not going to take away the emotional pain. You can talk about it all you want, and you can understand it all you want, but it's not going to take away the emotional pain, because a mental process is never going to release that emotional trauma. Or some people go, I don't have any trauma. You don't have to call it a trauma, but that emotional upheaval.
Yes, the things that happen when we live our lives, the grief that we experience, even if we're a happy camper with a blessed life and we stay focused on that, we're still going to experience seeing loved ones pass on and just different things that come up in the reality of our world.
Absolutely. And it is the world we live in. We are living in a very, very, very toxic world right now. And what I see all the time is people don't know how to get out of it. They are so miserable. They are so stuck in what's going on with them that they don't know how to unbury themselves. And then once that cycle gets stronger and stronger, and you start to get more and more hopeless and helpless, that's when people really are grabbing for anything. But the problem is they usually grab for alcohol or food or a love addict is what I worked with a marriage and family therapist. I've got to have that love from somebody else. But you've got a hole inside that no one else can fill.
That's the truth.
Nothing can fill it but you. So what I help people with is to get rid of all of it. And then you're not going to come back week after week. Okay, this week we're going to work on this, and then next week we're going to work on this, and then the week after that No, we're going to collapse it all at once. Because typically what happens, it's pretty rare if it's not like this, people will have like woven a sweater that I call their life. So all these different things that they've gone through is all interwoven. So unlike a therapist where we'll say, okay, today we're going to talk about your childhood. The next week we'll talk about your spouse. And the week after that, maybe we'll talk about your children. We're going to get to them all because all of them stir up the exact same feeling typically inside. They all are pushing on the same button, so to speak.
And it builds up. It just keeps building.
Oh, absolutely. It builds and builds and builds and builds until people are exploding.
That's what they call real baggage.
Oh, big baggage. The whole Louis Vuitton baggage collection is what it's huge. So I really want people to know they don't have to live like that anymore. It's not necessary. You know, one of the things that I brought tonight is I wanted to read Steve Jobs' last words.
Oh, beautiful, wonderful.
You know, Steve Jobs, most people would say that he had the pinnacle of success. This man, he started his own company, little garage, company with some friends. Company got big, got fired from his own company. Floundered. He's a failure. They come back. His own company comes back and has him come back. And Apple grows bigger than they've ever been before. Everyone knows who Apple is. They always did, but when he came back, Apple is known for being innovative. So people that like that innovative edge want an Apple. So they really brought out products that really changed people's lives. So this man, we would call the pinnacle of success. He was at the height of what we would say, I want to be like him. If we want to look for a hero in the business world on who do we want to be like, Steve Jobs probably falls in one of those categories. But I want to read his last words because they're very, very shocking. You can find, I saw them on Facebook one day and then it passed around in an email form. So I actually copied it because this is an example of what I'm talking about. So here's his words. I reached the pinnacle of success in the business world. In others' eyes, my life is an epitome of success. However, aside from work, I have little joy. In the end, wealth is the only fact of life I'm accustomed to. At this moment, lying on the sickbed and recalling my whole life, I realize that all the recognition and wealth that I took so much pride in have paled and become meaningless in the face of impending death. In the darkness, I look at the green lights from the life support machines and hear the hum of mechanical sounds. I can hear the breath of the god of death drawing closer. Now I know when we have accumulated sufficient wealth to last our lifetime, we should pursue other matters that are unrelated to wealth. Should be something that is more important. Perhaps relationships, perhaps art, perhaps a dream from younger days. Non-stop pursuing of wealth will only turn a person into a twisted being, just like me. God gave us the senses to let us feel the love in everyone's heart, not the illusions brought about by wealth. The wealth I have won in my life, I cannot bring with me. What I can bring is only the memories precipitated by love. That's the true riches which will follow you, accompanying you, giving you strength, and love can travel 1,000 miles. Life has no limit. Go where you want to go. Reach the height you want to reach. It is all in your heart and in your hands. What is the most expensive bed in the world? Sick bed. You can employ someone to draw